Okay, so I thought that I'd come back um, to the channel just to give an update on life as a government worker who's been furloughed. I uh, wanted to share with the channel again, get back to uploading because I have been asked by a few people actually in my community, family and coworkers and a few friends why like do I still do podcasting? Do I still post and things like that? And I had stopped for a long time because I just ran out of kind of like not ideas or things to say. I just kind of got tired of talking, really, and I just also felt like I was like half doing content. It takes a lot of energy and effort if you really want to put something out, and I just felt like I wasn't doing the proper things to put out good content. But I felt like this was an appropriate time to start again because I am on furlough. I am. I think this is probably like day maybe 20. I lost count of furlough. Um, and they sent us home like October the 1st. So technically it would be like 20, 22 days. And I thought I'd just come and share with everybody how everything is going and what's going on in my life. So when furlough started, I was not like stressed out or panicked about it or anything like that, because God provides. But through this time frame, I've had an opportunity to get more rest. I've had an opportunity to um, dig more into the Word of God, and I've had an opportunity to spend more quality time with my son, and also I've been able to get insight on things that I should do going forward to prepare for these things if they were to happen next time. And so I wanted to share just kind of those things with you guys, um, and then just keep posting it as much as I can while I have the time to. I felt like it was worth it because I had a conversation with my mom. She was retwisting my locks, and she was like, "Hey, why don't you just post like while you're on furlough every day?" And I was just like, "Well, what would I talk about?" And she was just like, "Whatever, whatever you want to talk about." And so today I wanted to talk about mainly I want to talk about like nutrition and food and how, and this is really like if you're a person you don't have to be furloughed. I'm speaking to people that like are maybe they are laid off outside of the government or they don't have a job right now. They're looking. Look, the job market is very, very interesting right now. You could put out your resume and put out things that you do, but if they're not looking for you specifically, you might not get hired, and that's just like a fact of life. And so I feel like you need to put things in your tool belt, your personal tool belt, your metaphorical tool belt to be ready for opportunities if you can, so you can get them. One of the things that I am studying for right now is the PMP, the Project Management Professional Certification, because it seems that certifications they hold more weight than actual degrees. But I want to talk about nutrition first because when furlough first started, I was taking care of myself and really really strict on my nutrition, and then for like the first 2 weeks of furlough, I really kind of fell off the boat, and I was just kind of like I was eating right, but then I'd like eat bad like the next day, so I was very inconsistent, and I had to like stop doing that because what it was doing was it was like depressing me, And my thing was like I like pizza and I like breakfast, so it would be like getting like a whole pizza and eating it, and then like and then when the time came to do something else, it was like eating breakfast, like a whole stack of pancakes with eggs and French toast at IHOP. But I noticed that it was doing something to me. It was actually like making me more open to prone to sickness. So if you are a person that eats well and takes care of themselves, if you get off of that and you start eating like binge eating, it's it could possibly make you sick because your body's not used to taking all that unhealthy food in when you were just giving it like nutrients. So I noticed that it was opening me up to a lot of opportunity to get sick, and it was slowing down my progress on taking care of my son. I wasn't really as present as I could be taking care of my son because I was just so sluggish and lethargic, and a lot of the processed food and stuff like that, and the sugars that you put in, extra sugars, it'll slow you down, make you want to sleep all the time, and so it puts you in sort of like a sedation. So for me, it is I have stopped that, and so now I'm like in the morning, like so like I don't really eat until 1 o'clock. So and the first thing I'll put in my body at 1 o'clock is, well, I'll get up in the morning, I'll get up and I'll drink some water, and I really like put down water, in my system. Like this is my hydration system right here, like a whole big old canteen. This says Coach Tevin, but it's been rubbed off so much because I use it, right. Shout out to the parents of the '04 um, uh, SAF boys, Southern Alliance Football, RIP to that. But the parents got together and bought me a bottle, a water canteen, and I just been using that, and it's like a gallon. So I drink that throughout the day, and then like I'll get up at night and drink it, and then I'll have to like get up and use the bathroom at night because I've drank so much water, but it's worth it. So hydration is like key, and then I'll do some yoga, so some stretching, and I do like somewhere between 15 to 30 minutes of stretching, and then or by that time it's like 12. So then after that I'll go and I'll get quiet time with the Lord, and then after that it'll be probably like 12:30, 12:45, and then I'll make a shake. So the shake that I make is got blueberries in it. It's got avocado, and it'll have those blueberries, avocados, spinach and kale, um, some non-fat Greek yogurt, and almonds, roasted almonds. And then if I have grapefruits, I'll squeeze grapefruit juice in there, and to fight off like hunger and stuff like that. And then I'll blend all that up. If I have some mangoes or something, I'll put that in there. But I really just try to keep the fruit to be like uh, berries, like blueberries, raspberries, or blackberries, or all three, because berries have a lot of fiber in them. They don't have as much sugar in them as other fruits. Not saying that like fruits are bad or whatever. It's just with me, I'm kind of like a heavier set person, so I have to watch like my sugar intake. But I will put honey in there. Like I'll put some honey, put like a dollop of honey in there, and I'll just blend it up with ice, and then I fill it. I fill up the liquid, because some people use milk and some people use water, but I like using water because the milk, it's oat milk if I use it. But dairy tends to stick to me, even though I like the Greek yogurt in there, the non-fat Greek yogurt. Um, with the fat is out of it, so it's a pretty healthy Greek yogurt, and so that's like my first meal, if you will, of the day at 1 o'clock. By the time I get done making that shake, it's 1 o'clock, and then from there I'll go and work out. It'll be I'll do my studying for my PMP certification, and then I'll go work out, and working out time will be around either 3:30, 5:30, or 6:30, and then from there I'll, depending on what day it is, I'll go from there, take a break, and then if I, I'll probably study for the, I'll probably study for the PMP again. If not, I'll go into practice, soccer practice. I play for a soccer team called Angeles FC. Um, um, and then we practice at 8:45 at night. So from like 8:45 to 10:45, we'll practice. I get home at like 11:30, so I'll sleep. And because it's furlough, I can sleep um, for a long time. And then I'll probably wake up around. I go to bed around 12, and I wake up around 11, and do it all over again. But that's like the week I don't have my son. The week I do have my son, it's a little different. I don't go to practice at all because it's too late, and I don't want people. I don't want to burden anybody with watching him overnight. I want to watch him, obviously. Um, and then I won't go to practice that week at all, which means I probably won't go to the game. So, and the week with him is like while he's in daycare, I'll try to work out at 3:30, like hardline workout 3:30, and then go pick him up uh, around 5 o'clock, and then we have the day. Um, but I'm also like looking for a job as well, like a little part-time job. I've applied at places, so uh, that's in the works too. But I want to talk about nutrition specifically because if you're not taking care of your body in today's age, you need to really think about doing that. The reason why I would say you need to strongly think about doing that is because the 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 food that they are making in these restaurants um, is killing us. Um, and a lot of the food on the shelves is killing us too. And it's also important that because all the food can be kind of wonky, it's important that you pray over your food before you eat it and ask God to bless the food, but also make sure you're taking in the right food as well. So, what does that look like? Well, I just talked about it, right? Like, the certain things that go in the shake. Also, I put ginger in my shake too. But when it comes time to eat like solid food, by that time, the week I don't have my son, which is like the week where I can kind of like be a little more free with my time, I'll eat my first meal, um, probably around because of practice and stuff. I probably won't eat my first meal till like 11:45 at night. That's not ideal. It's just the situation I'm in right now. But before that, I would eat my first meal. Ooh, I would probably eat my first meal around lunch. When I'm like dialed in. I probably eat my first meal around lunch, which for me it'd be like 12:45. And what I'll have is like fish and rice, so salmon and rice, or it could be eggs. Um, I prefer like brown eggs, but eggs are expensive, so get what you can. Because the white eggs have like a peculiar smell to them. It's just kind of wild. They smell kind of like chemically, chemical induced, or like maybe like even sometimes smell kind of like rotten. So brown eggs, I try to use brown eggs. They're lighter, um, just in appearance, but also they're just healthier. And then there's a beef patty. Like Wendy's sells their never frozen beef patties in stores now, so you can take that and it they don't cook it. You're not letting Wendy's cook it with their oils and stuff. So you take a pan like a you take a one of those um, cast iron skillets and you put olive oil in there and then you put some butter in there and then you just put salt and pepper on there and then you you know um, on each side for 5 minutes. Let it cook 5 minutes, and so the eggs, a beef patty, and then sweet potato. right? That's the whole. That's it. Because the sweet potato is like a really good carb. You know, people talk about carbs and them being bad. So like when most people prefer refer to carbs being bad, they're usually talking about a ultra processed situation. Yeah, like non-foods, like crackers and chips and um, things like that. Like potatoes that are like fried. You want to stay away from that type of stuff. I'm telling you because like the older you get, like your body starts suffering for it. You know what I mean? And the scary part about it is if you're used to eating like a certain way that's not healthy, your body gets used to that and it becomes addicted to it. It becomes addicted to it. And it's like I realized in that like 2 week span when furlough started and I was eating kind of like out of place, like I was getting sicker. I call it eating out of pocket. I was getting sicker and I was just getting sluggish and my body wasn't feeling right because I was so used to eating in a particular way. So I'm just saying, like, if you're used to eating unhealthy, please start eating healthier because, like, the economy is putting us in a situation where um, your bills are getting harder to pay. So those doctor bills are going to get more expensive, even if you have insurance. Your insurance is expensive, So if like your health insurance is expensive, especially if you don't have like your job covering it. But you want to get yourself in a situation if your job does cover insurance, where you can get like the 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 least expensive health insurance possible because you take care of yourself. If you take care of yourself, you can afford to get the cheap health insurance because you're taking care. And nowadays, like I think that you need to find like cheap options for insurance coverage because insurance coverages are like they're like robber barons, man. They're like taking advantage of the situation and like upcharging, not just taking advantage of the situation. They need to cover their costs because inflation is going up. So if you take care of yourself, you can get the cheapest option of health insurance, and you can rock out like that. Also, water, like your water intake is like serious. Like you have to take in like a good amount of water. I mean, I would say like a half a gallon or a gallon a day because it's just really important to start taking care of yourself. These health industries, they doctors and stuff like that. The doctors don't. RFK recently did something where he put in something where doctors have to start um, studying nutrition when they're going through school. And I thought that was so profound because I was under the impression that doctors were like taking nutrition courses. They're not. These doctors are chemists. They study alchemy. They study the periodic table, like, and they're just figuring out what chemicals and what concoctions go together to create habit forming prescription drugs because the only thing that makes that drug legal is the fact that it has a prescription label around that orange bottle. Other than that, it's a recreational drug. It's a drug, and you can go to jail for that. You know what I mean? For possessing that. And so it's just very important because they're habit forming drugs. They study how to make habit forming drugs so they can prescribe them to their customers, and they can keep doing it and keep them hooked. Um, and then like I was seeing this guy. I was at the doctor because I had a bacterial infection in the back of my throat when furlough started. And it's because I wasn't taking care of myself. And I saw this older man out where I was waiting because I thought it was COVID, so I was basically quarantined in my truck until they came and took care of me. And they came out, and this guy, this older gentleman, was watching. He was getting help, and then like the doctor went back in to do something. I get something for him, I guess. And then when he went out, the the guy got out of the truck and he lit up a cigarette, and then he went back in his truck, and the doctor came out and was like, "Oh." how you doing? And I guess the man was like, I don't feel well. And she was like, okay, you don't feel well? All right, well, let me go get something for that. And it was just like, I know she smelled like the cigarette smoke on him. And it's just like our our society of people that practice medicine are taught to overlook like the glaring thing, right? Because um, I guess in society today, like love is letting somebody do what they want to do without telling them the truth. And so, a lot of us we'll lie to our doctors. Do you smoke? Do you drink? And we'll say no, but we do smoke and we do drink. And so, and I'm not like over here like passing judgment. I'm just saying I've been in that boat. I've been a drinker and I've been a smoker, and I don't drink or smoke anymore because I know like the health insurance is getting so out of pocket and so expensive that your medical bills are not going to be able to be paid for. But if you just start taking care of yourself, you can kind of bypass that as much as possible. And also, the power of prayer, like during that time, I was not really praying, and I was kind of like, I guess subconsciously, like kind of stressing out about what was to come because they're saying that the furlough is supposed to last till mid to late November, but God has already like provided a way for me to take care of myself and my son while I'm going through this period of time. And so, whether I need a side hustle or not, which I do have that already with coaching, it's irrelevant. The Bible says like cast all your burdens upon God because He cares about you. It says don't be anxious for anything. You're supposed to not have a spirit of fear, but a spirit of like um, a sound mind, um, and not lean on your own understanding, but acknowledge the Lord in all His ways, and He'll make your path straight. So I really believe in that, not but stress was showing up in my body also because I wasn't eating well either. And so the Lord wants you to take care of your body. Your body's a temple. The things that are going in your body should be mostly good. Not saying that we don't fall outside of the lines. You know what I'm saying? Choose to have this or have that, but it should be like every once in a while. It should be every once in a while. Um, and I'm saying this as a person that's like taking accountability for my health and taking it back. And I'm telling you, I've felt like much better since I've taken back control of that. Um, and working out. Like find a way to be physically active, at least 3 to 4 times a week, for at least 30 minutes. But, also at the same time, when you're working out, just know like the older you get, you cannot outtrain a bad diet. So if you have like bad nutrition, then when you're working out, like it doesn't, it's as the older you get, it's not gonna matter. You need to make sure you're working. Even if you're a person that doesn't gain a lot of weight, it's not gonna show up on you like physically. But for a person like me who holds on to everything, it is gonna show up. I'm gonna be working out, but like it's not gonna show because it's not gonna show any progress because I'm still like choosing the bad things to put in my mouth. So if you can just try to control what you put in your mouth, that's really important. You know what I mean? Overconsumption can be a bad thing as well too. I know people talk about calorie counting and things like that. Listen, you don't need but like 2 meals a day. Some people only need one. And you can kind of get in this place where you're fasting, and at a certain point in time, now you can use that to put energy in other things. Because when you're empty, right, the Lord can like use you, as opposed to when you're filled up and you're satiated. It's like your brain, it can kind of be in a fog and things of that nature, especially when you're putting the wrong things in your body. But I wanted to come on and talk about that because things are getting a lot more expensive. I just, that type of stuff, you think about it and it intensifies when you get furloughed or when you get laid off and stuff, because now you're having to cut back because the money, what I'm saying, is not all the way there. And I just noticed like there are certain things that I thought that I needed, I don't need anymore. Certain things that I needed, I thought it was a need, it was a want. And so it's helped me get things in perspective. And so I just came on to talk about that. Like, taking care of your body is like the new wealth. You know what I mean? You might not have all the money in the world. I know I don't, but I noticed like since I've been taking care of myself, that is a freedom that you can't buy. You know, there's no Ozempic that can do that. There's no magic pill that can do that. Only you can decide that I'm gonna take control of my health. Nobody can do it for you either. And so you should go to great lengths to, put your, whip your body into strict discipline because it's gonna pay dividends. Um, I read something somewhere where it was like, in the next, 50 to 60 years, the life expectancy is going to increase, and people are going to start living into their 80s, into their 90s. But there's a little fine print that is invisible, and it's like if you're taking care of yourself, because there's also people that are clocking out faster too, but just simply before the time because they're not taking care of their health. My grandfather on my mom's side, God rest his soul, uh, his name was Lonnie Lawson Sr. We call him LC. Um, my son's middle name is his. So I I saw him clock out before his time, in my opinion, because he was 54, and but certain things that the certain lifestyle he was living, it didn't afford him to live older. Um, and also like on the flip side, my father's father, my granddaddy on my dad's side, he was 82 when he died. But he was active throughout his life. We worked in the garden, was going out and cut grass and stuff like that. He was a drinker. He stopped drinking. But towards the end of his life, he stopped taking, um, he was on pressure medication and stuff like that, and he needed that to like live. And I think he stopped taking it, and it kind of like I think it kind of like affected him when his wife died. Like 2 years prior to that, and so he just kind of stopped wanting to live and stuff like that. 82 is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie, to live, but imagine if he was, had decided to like change his habits. He was a bit heavy and stuff like that. I'm not passing judgment on my grandfathers or anything. Life is hard. I'm 31. I'm not near 50. I'm not at 54 or 82. So I don't know what they had to deal with, but I know that watching them made me want to like take better care of myself. So I'm not on medication. So I don't have these certain habits and stuff. I want to form and stuff like that. So I would just say in this certain type of economy where it's kind of like tanking, like lifestyle is, the ability to live healthy is getting harder, because you see the things in front of you. It's hard to survive, so people turn to drinking, smoking, gambling. Gambling is like huge in this society. People want to like gamble to as a vice. You know what I mean? And so I've had family members that went through that as well, and just people and friends I know. And you want to try to break as many habits as you have as many habits as you can in this type of economy, so you're not laden with like debt and also like just um forms of like bodily slavery, like succumbing to it. You want to make sure you rid yourself of that so you can be free to do the purpose that God has given you. And yeah, this is like my first post that I've made in a while, and I want to make more like this. So, um, like, comment, subscribe. But that's it for me today. And y'all have a good rest of your day. Okay.